Sunday, December 12th, 2021, the third Sunday of Advent. The Gospel passage for today presents people taking advice from John the Baptist to prepare for the coming of the kingdom of God. If you remember last Sunday, we reflected on John calling the people to the desert of discernment. Many people went to listen to him. They were ordinary people. They were tax collectors, and even soldiers. The Gospels have answers to our questions of what we should do to prepare for the kingdom of God. We should also begin our discernment just as they began theirs, with John's help. John revealed to them the hills and valleys they had formed in their personal lives. The ordinary people who did not care for those who were poor, the tax collectors who overtaxed, and the soldiers who exacted too much from the people. John guided all of them to a nobler life, preparing them for the kingdom of God. The Baptist's advice encouraged them to live their lives with a little more care for others. Most people are used to caring for themselves. All of us are hardwired to protect ourselves and those belonging to and providing for us. Although there is a self-preservation drive involved in this attitude, there is also a selfishness. John invites us to overcome these natural drives and to begin to care for people who are not under our protection and care. We should prepare for Christmas with a little more care for others, with a little more nobility in living. Learning these new ideas and values, the people sought advice from John, this veteran in the desert. The accompaniment of one who has seen and survived the deserts of life would be spiritually nourishing for those who seek. Not only the words of John, but his life example also display virtues that we can learn. John the Baptist raised new hopes in the people who thought that he might be the Messiah. Yet, when he could have easily claimed himself as the Messiah, John behaves as a man of extraordinary nobility. He says that he is not the Messiah and indicates the coming of the true Messiah. To give way is the most dignified way. A stunning example of this, I remember, is Mahatma Gandhi, the father of India. He was the architect of India's independence. On the eve of independence, when the streets were dancing with joy, Gandhi, with an extraordinary display of nobility, gives the task of forming the government to others and walks away. Closer to our own time, Pope Benedict is a brilliant example of such nobility. In the tradition of popes ruling for a lifetime, Pope Benedict is an exception as he chose to step down and give way to a new pope. Despite many journalists trying to get sound bites that could be used against Pope Francis, Pope Benedict has stayed clear of making any comments on the ministry of Pope Francis. Giving way, and doing so in the most dignified way, is a virtue we can all learn from Pope Benedict. In the Old Testament, the relationship between Jonathan and David is one such noble act of giving away. Saul was trying to make Jonathan the unchallenged heir of his kingdom. So Saul tries to annihilate David, whom the people admired. Jonathan, on the other hand, for love and respect for the person and prowess of David, gives way with nobility. We find the incident of Peter and the beloved disciple running together to the tomb of Jesus. The beloved disciple, the younger of the two, reaches the tomb first, but waits to give way to the older Peter to go in first. Amazing examples of giving way. Jesus too would highlight this nobility. When invited for a meal, do not choose the prominent seats. Humility is that noble way that John and Jesus both emphasize. This virtue is not to be mistaken for accepting suffering. Sufferings are imposed upon us, whereas sacrifices can also be volunteered out of love. John sacrifices, a loving gesture of giving way to the other. When sufferings are accepted with love, they get transformed into noble acts of sacrifice. In a low-income family, when the mother finds that the food is not enough, she lovingly takes the watery soup and gives the better portions to her children. Worried about the shortage of food, the father pretends to be full and comically burps to convince others that he is full. Think of these signs of great nobility in the daily lives of the poor.